Islam Dwayne Bey. I'm at Whole Foods. I'm running Arrington-Bey as your wife. It is January 20th, 2020. What I wanted to give you a list of experiences spiritually that I've experienced, and connect the dots of those that have the science of telepathy that they have distributed to, and instead of using the science that Imani-Gray-Bey and Arrington-Bey reject, they use it in a form to promote bondage through thoughts and actions and words. So when you hear them say paid and they're attacking the genitals in a sexual manner, then that's what they're trying to do. So you know that the founding forefathers of this country, and many bled for the spirit of freedom, so that they didn't want to be enslaved. The first slaves that came to this landmass were those that were considered pale skinned. Actually, they were, as I learned as a Moorish American, the pale skin, or that which called themselves European, were the first ones to be called Negro. And so by them bringing these slaves, or those, and using them as slaves on this landmass, that was a frequency that was placed upon this landmass, and that wasn't good. It lowered the frequency in this hemisphere. So those that were pale skinned, they fought. They did what they fought for many things: to not be used as slaves, to not be the slave masters would sleep with the females, breed them, and so forth. But because that was against the covenant of Allah, which is in that the spirit of freedom, those that were involved are accountable. And so for every action, there's a reaction. Islam and slavery is definitely not in the divine laws of freedom or any form of bondage. It's not in connection to the natural laws of Spirit of Mother Earth and the universe. So we know that through history, and this is true history, that the pale skin, not just in this landmass, but all over the earth, in many countries, were used as slaves. In Ireland, different parts of Europe. So you had the Vikings going to different places in Ireland to get those Irish and use them as slaves. You had other pale skins using pale skins as slaves. And then you had those that were melanated using pale skins as slaves. And so in that, there was a frequency, a very low frequency that was placed out in the universe. And for every action, there's a reaction. And we are accountable for that, for those horrific acts of harm being done. So in the present day, Dwayne Bey, let me come over here. Well, I guess I'm okay right here. What I've learned, some of the things that these spirits do to encourage slave breeding is these are sciences that are done by that which is connected to the military, the United States Navy, Army, that have not taken an oath or affirmed to uphold the constitutional laws, which include the 13th Amendment, 20 sections, Abraham Lincoln's proclamations. And those are divine laws of freedom, all of Abraham Lincoln's proclamations. They invade the mind mentally. Okay, and so by them using that act of terrorism to invade the mind mentally, and then attack your genitals at the same time, because they've studied the science of the human body, instead of them using this science to help protect true American citizens on this landmass, they are using the science to promote and demonstrate bondage, to try to put a spirit of bondage and savagery, or to behave as a savage, because to enslave in a manner as such, it depends on, if you look at history, slavery was very savage, very savage. So one of the things I noticed, to get to some of the things I experienced that they can do, in reference to those that have the science of telepathy and that which control them, that's in the United States jurisdiction. That means they are in a jurisdiction separate from natural law. So I'm not referring to the U.S.A Constitution of 1787, that jurisdiction that is demonstrating, and you have to have claim a nationality in order for the constitutional laws to apply to you. And you know, African American, black, Negro, pale skin, Hispanic, those are not nationalities. And you have to have claimed a nationality and be naturalized under laws of freedom in order for these constitutional laws to be applied to you. Otherwise, you are used and are classified as such wherever you go. And if you are used and classified as a slave or a weapon of mass destruction, or identified as a weapon of mass destruction because you have been used to send sharp pains and attack the genitals from wherever you come from, that is exactly how others will perceive you when you travel outside of the landmass. So because these are definitely acts of terrorism spiritually and mentally that can also affect you physically. And them being acts of terrorism, and that which is doing it is definitely a weapon of mass destruction. So let me continue. So one of the things I noticed to make short, so if, for instance, I hear the unclean spirits say move a lot. So what they do is they invade the frontal part of your mind and then attack your genitals. And if you are in a thought process where you're trying to calculate something, or you're not conscious of your thoughts, so in other words, you're not in the present moment. You're not conscious. You're not in your present moment of what's going on. And you actually move, and then another spirit actually engage in one of your sheaths. Then what that does is cause you to move. And then what an unclean spirit will start saying is, we got it, paid, that's her, the word, that's her husband, that sort of thing. And so you thinking what's going on. And then the thing is, they have been doing this for a long time, but we didn't know about it. That's why a lot of the teenage pregnancies are explained now. So they've been doing these types of things, trying to attack the genitals, get people to be sexually aroused so that they can have babies and be in this slave breeding process. And so, and in that, you know, in the black community, teenage pregnancy was the highest on this landmass. We were wondering what was going on and why so many black women and black young girls and black boys having sex at a young age and having babies, and they put them on TV. Well, this is one of the reasons why. But we didn't know, because we didn't understand what was going on in reference to them using these spirits that are unclean as weapons of mass destruction. Another thing that they are able to do is engage with you, where you can actually move one of your limbs like this. Okay, so you're not in your present moment. You are in a different thought process. Maybe you are working, you are on autopilot. You might be doing other things. Maybe you're walking, just walking and going about your day-to-day life. So one of these unclean spirits will actually force themselves and invade one of your sheaths, your body sheaths, and can cause you to move or actually fall or feel lightheaded, where you want to fall back or fall down. And if you don't know, they have a term for this in the medical field, but it's a term that they created for it in reference to not be able to maintain your balance. I forgot what it's called. I think it starts with a V. But what's truly happening is one of these unclean demonic spirits that they have released in the population as weapons of mass destruction have engaged with you and causing you to feel uneasy, off balance, mentally diseased, so that you can think something's wrong with you enough where you have to go to a medical system that is controlled by a form of a corrupt banking system, because not all medical systems are like this. Some medical systems are actually for healing, and you have to spend money and be recycled in the medical system, medical field. So another thing that they're able to do, so when you're sleeping, okay, and you have worked all day, say you're a single woman and you have kids or children, actually children, and you're actually trying to, you worked all day, you have children that you have to give a bath to, you have to feed, you have to care for. So what they'll do in this present day time is, if one of these unclean demonic spirits, where it is a African American black Negro that is an experiment that they release in the population, a pale skinned Negro that they release in the population, or a Spanish Negro, will actually could start stalking you and cause you. And these are spirits that are able to control technology and are mixed with animal and other form of DNA. That they, once again, when I say experiment, Dwayne Bey, obviously these are experiments. So if they are stalking you and you are a single woman with young children, and they're stalking you, looking at you while you take a bath, you're on the toilet stool, they're somewhere jacking off, they send in females to try to be your friend so they can seem like they're not so savage, so they don't seem like they are trying to rape you, or whatever method they're trying to do in order to normalize this act of invasion of a private space, property, invasion of your personal space, which is in connection to the 10th Amendment, the Bill of Rights of the Constitution. Then they will do so. But what's truly going on is they have used these demonic spirits, so they're trying to slave breed these unclean spirits in our ancient ancestral lines, and they are trying to demonstrate, they are trying to normalize molestation spiritually, raping spiritually, and then in the process continue this frequency of bondage that is going against natural law, which is in direct attack of the spirit of Mother Earth and the universe, because natural law is what the spirit of Mother Earth and the universe is created in, is what it is made of. It is how it vibrates, the frequency. But outside of natural law is foreign Islam. So that is another thing that they are able to do. And then they might even start saying, because they are telepathic, sending you telepathic mental thoughts, I'm your husband. And if they rape you and molest you while you're sleeping, they'll start sending telepathic thoughts, you like it. And this is, you loved it, you wanted to have it done. All that psychological teachings that they show on TV about rapists, what they do on the physical plane, how they show rapists thinking that the predator, the woman or the young boy wanted to be raped, and the rapists, they have a psychologist sitting in front of them asking why they do it. They're like, she wanted it. Look what she had on. She had on a tight dress. She wanted it. Or why did she walk outside her bathroom naked? She should get dressed in her bathroom, in her home. She shouldn't be walking around her home naked. So she wanted it, So these are the same, but what they've done is instead of them using, they're using that same sadistic mental thought on a mental level, because it's hard to be proven, because it's not proven that that's being done. Okay, so on the physical plane, it's classified as a male being sick, deranged, imbalance, mental illness on the physical plane. That's what psychologists and doctors would diagnose that, male or female, because females also are doing this because they are trying to slave breed. But if it's not able to be proven and you have no proof that it's being done, then you go and you speak about, you go to the police and say, this male is sending me telepathic thoughts and trying to rape my children at night, or this female is raping my children at night because she wants she's trying to wait till it gets old, till the child gets old enough so she can seduce it even more and have sex with it, whatever. Then they'll look at you like you're crazy, and they're like, "What? Who? When did this happen?" She's like, "It happened." You know, you say it happened spiritually and mentally. It happened. There's something inside my home, around my house, raping us and harming us and hurting us. And where's the proof? So this is once again a part of abusing that science of telepathy. Another thing they are able to do is send an emotion as though that you like it. And when a male is trying to communicate with you, I can't tell you how many times those, especially the African American or Negro Black males, will sit there and look at me and they're engaging. And when they're engaging, I feel like a smile. So what they're trying, and then a download, or that's what I like to call it, an emotion might come about as though I want to actually connect with this demonic spirit. Okay, I'm not saying all pale skinned, all African American Negroes, or those on that status, all Spanish speaking are demonic. But these are unclean acts done by those who are demonic in spirit, and obviously of some other species of some kind that have been released in the population to spread sickness, disease, harm, and keep the frequency low. Something else. And so me being in the spirit of truth, I am able to tell what's truly going on. Another thing that they are able to do is so they can replicate your voice mentally. So you have an inner voice. Say you're reading something. For instance, here I'm reading about this kale salad. Okay, mentally. So I'm reading about this salad. So what they can do is replicate your mental voice to as a form. So say you look at it, but in your habits you're doing the same thing mentally. It could be a chant that you do. It could be it's because if you're not aware of your habits, they say a man that controls your habits controls you. So you have these unclean demonic spirits. Once again, this takes science and takes studying, and that have not uphold the United States Constitution of 1787, the 13th Amendment, 20 sections, and all of Abraham Lincoln's proclamations. And they are in some form of the military or not, but 9 times are, and they are able to do this. And they are trying, and so they are trying to engage in slavery because they feel like they have done their job, and this is what they want to do. This is their right to do so. So this is their thought process. So what they can do is, if they're not able to engage with you on a physical plane, because they know that you would not be receptive to their approach, to their engagement, they'll engage with you mentally, and after studying your habits and your thoughts, will actually try to replicate a thought. And then one of them, it could be whether any unclean spirit, not what I've experienced is those under the status of African American, Negro, Black will start saying, "I'm talking to her. Y'all heard that? I'm talking to her. I'm talking to her. She heard me. I'm talking to her. That's mine. I'm talking to her." Literally, that and so this is exactly so this is the sickness and mental imbalance that we are among. but they know it can be Spanish speaking as well. Definitely that has happened too many times with the Spanish speaking and the pale skin. So, and these are, once again, these spirits are those that are in the United States jurisdiction that are used as slaves and behave as such, and also as weapons of mass destruction. So if they're not able to engage you on a physical plane, they'll start forcefully engaging mentally. And then after a while, as they are trying to complete thoughts that you have created, that you have used before, because they have studied your mind and your habits, they might try to physically approach you. And if you are in the spirit of truth and you have been studying yourself as a natural divine being, implementing natural laws, and then you know that you'll be able to see and know truth. And so what happens is, once these unclean spirits realize that everything that they have done is truthfully acts of terrorism, which they know it is, but they don't want you, but the thing is, they don't want you to think that it's acts of terrorism, because they're trying to normalize these spiritual acts of mental terrorism. Then they get upset. And that's when you might, some of them might start shooting, being violent, irrational, getting upset for no reason. You hear car accidents, literally ballistic, because they are of an animal, a beast nature, and they're not civilized. So these are some of the things I have experienced. So this is going back to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, study thyself. And once you study yourself, which includes your mind, Prophet Noble Drew Ali's teachings, which includes your mind, your thoughts, your body, your chemistry, study yourself some more. Keep studying yourself, and then you can understand how important that divine spirit of truth, truly is. Because when you are not in truth, that which is foreign, outside of natural law, will create a falsity, a truth for you, a false reality. And that's another reason of invading thoughts, creating something that's not real. Because if you're in the spirit of truth, then you are able to raise your frequency and harmonize with natural law, which includes spirit of Mother Earth and the universe. And that is what our Moorish American flag represents. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, truth. But when you're not in the spirit of truth, and you are outside of natural law, then you are in a spirit of deceit, and so your frequency is low. And so it's easy for them to normalize acts of terrorism. The weapons that are being used of mass destruction, sending sharp pains, all the things of harm, rape, molestation, keeping that frequency low, they normalize it so it can be done in the open. And everybody's like, well, this is how life is. But that's not how life is. They are normalizing what is not normal, trying to make something seem natural that is not natural. They are outside of natural law. Natural law is divine and national. And I'm thankful as a Moorish American, Ron Arrington-Bey and Monty Gray-Bey, that we have affirmed to uphold the Constitution of 1787, the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, and all of Abraham Lincoln's proclamations. These are divine laws of freedom, Islam. It's January 20th, 2020.